Okay, hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fortnite Mythbusters. Today we are on episode 99. So the next episode, it's gonna be something special. Anyways, guys, before we hop into today's video, let's see if we could smash 15,000 likes on today's video. That would be insane. As well, if you guys are new around here and you do enjoy my content, feel free to subscribe. I noticed that only like 12% of my viewers are actually subscribed to me, so let's try and hit that 1 million marker. Also, just like always, if you guys do have a myth you would like me to test in the next or future episodes of the Fortnite Mythbusters, make sure to go down in the comments and drop a comment of that myth for a pretty good chance to be featured. Anyways, guys, without further ado, let's get right on in to today's episode. To kick things off, the very first myth, this myth is if you pick up a gun using Midas's golden touch and try to upgrade or side grade the golden weapon, will it continue to be golden or will the wrap go away? To try this myth out in game, you firstly have to have the Midas skin, and honestly I don't even have it. I have not really played Fortnite that much to get to tier 100, but luckily I had a viewer come in to come help me out with this myth, and luckily they actually had the Midas skin unlocked. When we tried this myth out, I found two weapons, an SMG where you can't side grade, and then an AR where you have the option to upgrade as well as side grade, and I gave both of the weapons to my viewer, who then basically used his golden touch to make both of the weapons golden. I got both of the golden weapons back, and I tried to upgrade as well as side grade each weapon individually, and unfortunately, after you have the golden weapon and you upgrade it or even side grade it, it'll go back to the default wrap that you had. So it really, I don't know. I mean, if you are Midas and you upgrade, obviously the weapon, it'll continue to be golden because Midas, he automatically makes any weapon he picks up golden. But if you are a regular skin holding the golden weapon and then upgrade or side grade it, it'll go away, sadly. Going into the next myth, this is actually a helicopter myth. I haven't tested one of these out in a while. This myth is, can a third person revive your teammate whilst holding them on the side of the helicopter? Now, in a real game, if you're in the middle of a fight and you actually pick up your teammate who was knocked and you basically carry him over your shoulder and you get into a helicopter and fly away, that's basically what they're trying to ask in this myth. Are you able to revive the teammate while you guys are actually flying, or does it not let you at all? I tried this myth out, and when we were flying away, unfortunately, it would not allow me to pick up the teammate at all. I flew up very high in the air, and since we didn't have a fourth person actually there to continue flying the helicopter, we slowly glided down, but it's the exact same as the regular game. I kept holding my E button, which is also the exact same button that'll kind of push you out of the helicopter. Basically, your use button is what that is, and it just eventually would have kicked me out. It didn't show any option to even revive the player at all either. Honestly, I wasn't really even expecting you to be able to revive your teammate while on the side of a helicopter, because you can't even revive a teammate while someone else is carrying them in the first place. Either way, definitely something good to know and good to keep in mind so you never try it out in a real game. Going into the next myth, is what happens when you get knocked while you're in the middle of teleporting through the tubes from a garbage can or even a porta potty. Now, surprisingly, this myth, it wasn't very difficult to do, but let's be honest, if this ever happens to you in a real game, it'll be very, very unfortunate, because nobody really ever wants to get knocked in the middle of the storm. That's the worst thing that could happen to you in a game. Anyways, when trying this myth out, I was waiting for the storm to slowly came in, and while I was waiting, I got myself down to like 4 HP or even 30 HP, you know, just enough that way the storm would actually be able to knock me out, and I wouldn't have to wait like 4 minutes for my health to slowly drain. Now, the very first wave of the storm, it takes 1 damage per second, so I waited for my player to get down to like 1 to 2 HP and then hopped in the porta potty, and surprisingly, while I was going through the tube, it seemed to take a little bit longer to get knocked, but I was actually able to finally get knocked. And what's weird is that if you're more than halfway to the end, it'll push you out all the way to the end. But if you get knocked and, you know, like you're right at the beginning of the tube, it'll actually send you straight back out to where you came in from. What's interesting to note is that my teammate, he jumped in right behind me when I was knocked on the other end of the tube, and it actually gave him the option to revive me. He tried to hold down his button to revive me, and it didn't seem to be doing anything, but still something good to know. Going into the next myth is, can you side grade the Meowskull's AR to a Scar? Meowskulls, am I saying that right? That's like a tongue twister, kind of. Now, Meowskulls, he is no longer at the yacht. Deadpool basically took over the yacht, and Meowskulls, he's now at this weird agency sort of thing that is a little bit south of Retail Row, and he seems to be there basically by himself. Now, I'm gonna be honest, when I tried this myth out, I'm not proud of this, but I died to Meowskulls twice. There's nobody else in the game, and I died to him twice. This thing literally has the aimbot. He triple headshot me 2 games in a row, so I was a little mad. Anyways, finally getting the pew pew AR rifle AK thing. I then head over to an upgrade or side grade booth, whatever you like to call it, just an upgrade machine, and I attempted to upgrade or side grade it, but it shows that this weapon is not able to be upgraded or side graded, unfortunately. We tried the Smith out in the past actually with Sky's Scar, but a lot of people wanted me to test it out with the AK as well, so I decided to try the Smith out. But these mythic weapons, you can't really seem to get rid of them or change them in any way, shape, or form. Going into the next myth, this myth actually requires Meowscles. Once again, this myth is, does Meowscles vault card work at the Deadpool vault? Before Deadpool was actually introduced, Meowscles basically lived at the yacht, and whenever you would kill this boss, it would drop the yacht's key card. And that's the exact same thing that happens even when he kills Meowscles now. And Meowscles doesn't even live at the yacht. It lives in like this weird building that is a little bit south of Retail Row. After getting this vault keycard and actually flying all the way up to the yacht itself, surprisingly the vault keycard actually works. I mean, the yacht card is the exact same as the one that you get from Deadpool as well as Meowscles. And the interesting thing is if you actually kill Deadpool and you get the other yacht keycard and attempt to go open up the yacht, it will still show, you know, like the dashed arrows on the floor for, you know, like to lead you to the vault. It still shows that, so it acts as if the vault's still there, closed. But when you do try and open it, even with the second keycard, it won't even allow you to. Now, to be honest, I don't really know the backstory behind this game or what exactly happens. I have no clue why Meowscles doesn't even have a brand new vault or why it drops 2 of the exact same card, but I guess it's something good to know either way. Going straight into the next myth is, will a crash pad affect a henchman? Now, this is one of the more easier myths to test out. All I had to do was literally just find a crash pad, and I was basically set. I then went over to the agency, where there's of course many henchmen, and I threw a crash pad down literally right on top of a henchman, and all it does is launch them straight up into the air. The interesting thing is that, you know, like when a regular player, you're jumping on the crash pad in a certain direction, it'll actually launch you extremely far in that direction. With the henchman, it would only launch him straight up and down and never side to side or, you know, in the direction that he was facing. I actually found that quite interesting, and I guess you really don't even need to know that, but I mean, if you ever want to launch a henchman, just know they'll most likely go straight up and down unless, I don't know, somehow they're walking or something in midair. I don't know. Going into the next myth is, can a henchman actually win a game, or what happens when you let a henchman win a game? Now, this myth is interesting, and I thought it was a very, very good one to test out, because obviously the odds of the circle ending at a place where the henchmen are is, you know, super unlikely, and even then, majority of people land at these agencies, at the cove, you know, wherever these vaults are, so majority of the henchmen are dead either way. When I tested this myth out, I tested it in my custom matchmaking server, where basically, you know, it's 1 player or 2 players max in here, or however many I really want, but I did it with, you know, just by myself as well. I tested out with my friend, and whenever, you know, you win the game, it acts as if it's a regular match, just the storm hasn't closed in, you know, so it's the exact same as a regular game. Just picture it as a smaller lobby, you know. The storm doesn't need to be like the 5th or 6th wave in order for it to count as a real game. We tried out many different ways to actually get a henchman to win a game. The first way I tried was by myself. I landed at the agency and basically let the henchman or even a boss kill me, and it still shows the victory royale for myself, not the henchman. And when I press spectate, it won't even spectate the henchman or the boss or whoever basically killed me. Another thing that we also tested was basically me and my friend, who was also on the enemy team. We built up and we kind of baited the henchman to actually shoot us out, which we then fell to our death, and it was then kind of like a 50-50 test. We tested out in a Mythbusters episode in the past, you know, the last 2 players die to fall damage, who exactly wins. That's the exact same thing in this case. It's just, you know, the structure got broken out by, you know, an AI or, you know, some sort of environment creature. So unfortunately, if you ever wanted a henchman to actually win a game of Fortnite, it is not possible. The closest thing you could do is actually, you know, you would actually win, or whoever is the last person standing before the henchman kills them wins the match itself. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe to the channel. If you are new, feel free to drop me a follow on Twitter or even Instagram. I'm also getting a lot more active on my Twitch, so if you guys want to come watch me play some games live and come talk to me live, make sure to go drop me a follow on there as well. Anyways guys, I will see you all next time. Peace.